Monday morning, everyone, and welcome to First Things First. Jenna Wolfe alongside Nick Wright, Brandon Marshall, Kevin Wildes, and today Fox Sports is celebrating Memorial Day. We start with a very heartfelt thank you to those who have sacrificed for our country, and a thank you, of course, to those who have served in our armed forces, and we will be thanking them throughout the course of the morning. But with that, let's talk some sports on this Monday morning. We start with Lakers Suns. Say on Friday, we thought this series was all over, all Lakers. What happened? I'll tell you what happened. Anthony Davis, AD, sitting out the second half of last night's game with a strained groin, suffered late in the second quarter. Reportedly, there's now pessimism that he'll be able to even play Game 5. Meanwhile, for the Suns, Chris Paul out there with that banged-up shoulder. He's out there leading the Suns to the Game 4 win, 18 points, 9 boards. Oh, this series just got real. Here's LeBron after yesterday's loss.
At 36, you know, how wide are those shoulders still? Can you do this at this age and carry the team if AD is not able to do to be out there?
You know, for me, it's putting our team in position to be successful. It starts with my approach. It starts with my accountability. Trickles down to everybody else. So, you know, these shoulders was built for a reason. And, you know, if it takes for me to put some more on top of it, then so be it. Win, lose, or draw. I'm ready for the challenge.
All right, Nick Wright, I'm going to start with you. Do you think LeBron James can carry the Lakers past the Suns without Anthony Davis?
Of course. I think LeBron can carry the Lakers past the Suns without Anthony Davis. I think it's unfortunate that they're in this position. It's unfortunate that yesterday they seemed to be stunned in the beginning of that third quarter by Anthony Davis not being out there, and they sleptwalked through it and they let the game get away from them. And I think it's unfortunate that at age 36, in year 18, LeBron is going to be forced to do this in round one. But if there is a silver lining, at least for me personally, and this is one of the great things about sports. We argue about sports, we debate, and very often we do end up getting to see who's right and who's wrong, because the games that we talk about, what if this happened, what if that happened, very often do happen. And about a month ago, when there was real concern about Anthony Davis's health, I said on this show that the Lakers actually only really need Anthony Davis in a few series to win the championship. Obviously, they'd need him in the finals against the Bucks or the Sixers or the Nets. I think they would need him against the Clippers because the Clippers have no inside presence, and arguably against the Nuggets. But I said I thought they could beat anybody else in the West without him. Well, now they're going to have to beat the second best team in the West without him, at least for Game 5, and then we'll see if he would be back for a Game 6, or if it gets there, a potential Game 7. But we know exactly what the game will look like. LeBron will slow everything down. They'll surround him with shooters. The defense will take a hit, and the offense will get better. And so do I believe the greatest player ever can go into Phoenix in Game 5, control a game on both ends, and lead the Lakers to a win to take back control of the series? I believe he can, and I believe he will. Can the Lakers win the title? Well, they're going to need Anthony Davis back for that, but I actually don't think they need him back to win this series.
Oh, my goodness, Nick, this is how we're going to start this Monday off? Absolutely not, Jenna. They cannot beat the Suns with Anthony Davis sideline. They absolutely need him. Look, we understand who LeBron James is and how great he is. It's intoxicating sometimes when you have a guy like that on your team. You got everybody sitting around and they're not creating for themselves. Just look at the box scores last night, or look at what they did. You have Schroeder 5 points, 8 points, and you have Kuzma 11, and you have Gasol 12. Like, that's just not good enough. And then when you look at the Suns and what they were able to do and how everybody got involved, it was a team effort. They're the better team. With CP3 on the court with a good enough shoulder, they have no chance with Anthony Davis sideline. Wildes. I mean, it was just amazing to see what CP3 CP3 was able to do and how he got everybody involved. I mean, just seeing him out there, just constantly communicating, getting his guys in the spot, yelling at his guys when he needed to. The moment was too big. Look at him. He hits the big shots and he runs back down saying, I'm back, I'm back, I'm back. So, Nick, it's sad because I'm always rooting for the underdog. I want to see LeBron James catch Michael Jordan. And we're talking about beating the Suns. There's no way he's going to beat the Suns. They're not going to make it to the finals. They're not going to make it to the Clippers. The Suns are the better team because of this situation.
Okay.
LeBron James finally back to 100% or close to it, but Anthony Davis is sidelined.
Okay, so I just want to, because I am, in addition to being one of the hosts of the show, I'm the official First Things First archivist. So I keep track of things. I want to know, because we need it for the records, Brandon. Before the series and after Game 1, you had Phoenix. After Game 2 and after Game 3, you had the Lakers. Are we back to Phoenix? Are you back to the Suns for the series?
I had the Lakers. No, time out.
I just want to know.
Well,
Kevin, you wrote nothing down. By the way.
The series ended.
Chris Paul goes down.
Middle of Game 1, second quarter. That's when the series ended.
I like what you did.
So I'm just wondering, are we back on the Suns?
I still remember.
Yeah.
9 minutes and 19 seconds to go in the second quarter.
Yeah.
I mean, with 9 minutes and 19 seconds on the clock, Chris Paul goes down the second quarter, Game 1. It shifted. Nobody thought Chris Paul was going to come back. So, I said it's going to be extremely tough for the Suns to overcome that. Everybody knew that. Your quarterback is down. For some reason, he's back up. He's running around. He's saying he's back. He's hitting big shots.
Okay.
So, yes, the Suns with Chris Paul.
Back on the Suns.
Yes, write it down. The Suns with Chris Paul, Wilds, all right, healthy, and AD not healthy and on the sideline. Yes, they win this series 100%.
Okay, got it. Now we got it. I just wanted to make sure. It's important for the records, Wilds.
Okay.
Wilds is not the Wilds.
Who are you, the historian? Who are you, the historian on the show, Wilds?
Yeah, exactly right. Historian, archivist, exactly right.
Nick said he's the archivist. I'm writing down that he said he was the archivist because I'm actually the archivist. Just for the record, I'm the one with the note.
Oh, okay, got it.
All right, I think LeBron can do it. You can't bet against LeBron. And the health of LeBron looks great. Anthony Davis going the other way because 2.5 games, LeBron was playing passive. But all of a sudden, we got this LeBron in Game 4. Alley-oop dunks, looking great, hanging on the rim. Some people said it should have been a technical foul. Not me. I kind of liked it. Then you got old Mount St. Mary's LeBron here, old spin move. So this guy, after kind of floating around on the outside, kind of gauging, feel out the Suns, he came back in a major way. So if LeBron is healthy, I think they can do it. But, Nicholas, I'm very worried about Anthony Davis because this is just the latest injury. And before this game, he's like, no way am I not playing. Like, all right, buddy, but maybe you shouldn't have because here's the list of injuries. We got the groin, we got the sprained left knee, we got the shoulder, we got the back, we got another groin, we got the ankle, we got the calf, and of course, the big danger, the Achilles. So I'm very worried about Anthony Davis and his ability to stay healthy. Even if you say, like, oh, they don't need him for this series, this is such a list of injuries. I don't think that he's going to be able to stay healthy throughout however long the Lakers run's going to be. And I know LeBron is saying, well, you know, it's next man up mentality. That's a football saying. It doesn't work. We need to just retire it from basketball because if we see Chris Paul goes down, the Suns go down. Anthony Davis goes down, the Lakers lose last night. Luka goes down, the Mavs go down. I don't buy next man up. I buy LeBron saying, I'll take all the weight on my shoulders and get us through this.
Yeah, so I agree with you that if Anthony Davis were to have suffered, say he suffers this injury in Game 1 of the finals, I don't think the Lakers, no matter how great LeBron is, we've seen that story. We've seen LeBron, no matter how brilliant he is, if he's way undermanned in the finals, it's going to be too much. But I also think that I do believe they can beat the Suns without AD. We can show you that this series, it's a story. It's not a story of Chris Paul health, Anthony Davis health. It's a story of, is LeBron on the court or off the court through 4 games? We can show it. When he's on the court, the Lakers win all the minutes. When he's off the court, they get annihilated. Minus 33 in 41 minutes. That paces to, over the course of a full game, a 40-point loss. So he will play 40-plus minutes in Game 5. He'll control both sides of it. But I agree with you, they would need him for the finals. I also think they would need Anthony Davis against Denver. but I don't think they would need him against Portland. And so you have to see what happens in that Nuggets-Blazers series, because Portland just doesn't have the horses with or without Anthony Davis. So I really, if AD is going to be out 2 weeks and the Nuggets end up beating the Blazers, then I would be heavily concerned. If the Blazers beat the Nuggets, AD can take his time, because I think LeBron can win 2 of these next 3 on his own.
You know what's concerning is that you are saying your number 2 guy, Anthony Davis, or the Lakers' number 2 guy, it's not that he's not that important. Oh, we need him for this series, but not that series. Nick, I've been saying it all year. Even if Anthony Davis gets healthy going into the playoffs, we don't know if he's going to last. He hasn't shown us that. And the reason why he's the key is because of what he showed us last year and how he helped out LeBron James, and he took so much weight off of those shoulders. The weight shouldn't be on LeBron's shoulders. It should be on Anthony Davis, because the others, they're not good enough. Check the box scores, America. That's all you have to do on this great Monday morning celebrating Memorial Day. Check the box scores. It tells the whole story. Nick wants to talk about LeBron on the court, off the court. That is not the storyline. The storyline is this: when LeBron James is hot and Anthony Davis isn't there, there's also nobody else there that can pick up the slack. Kuzma, he's not good enough. Gasol is not good enough. Drummond is not good enough. Those guys aren't good enough to get the job done without AD healthy and also playing consistently.
Well, last night they did not get the job done. Suns over the Lakers, series all tied up. Game 5 tomorrow back in the desert. We're going to switch gears, talk some Julio Jones. Rumors he could be traded to Seattle. Would Julio make Russ and the Seahawks the favorites in the NFC? Oh, to be discussed on this Memorial Day. Back after this. All right, drawing a blank now. Let's starting to get a clear picture of how the playoffs in the East are going to shake out. Bucks swept the Heat. Nets are up 3-1 on Boston, and the Sixers is going for the sweep tonight in D.C. So, Brandon, the team in the East that looks the best so far in the playoffs is blank.
Wow, Philly is handling their business, doing exactly what they're supposed to be doing. I don't know why you're singling up and playing one-on-one with Embiid. The Bucks, they sweep the Heat. What happened? You guys look phenomenal in the bubble. What happened this year? What happened this series? But I got to go with my team, the Nets, because they are the best team. We know they were the favorite going into the playoffs because of those 3 guys. Those 3-headed monsters: KD, Kyrie, James Harden. Phenomenal. 104 points in Game 4. That's a playoff record. Told you guys this was going to happen. I told you defense didn't matter because their offense would be too much. But when you look at their defense, they're actually playing good. Like, if Tatum didn't drop 50, them boys would have been swept already. So the answer is the Nets. You know that.
Wait a minute. Hold on. I'm going to try this the next time I apply for car insurance. It's like if you ignore the 7-car pileup I caused, I have a flawless driving record. What? Brandon, listen, I follow you on IG. I know you had a very busy Friday night, hobnobbing, rubbing elbows with celebrities, recording podcasts, doing a lot. But on Friday night, Jason Tatum did drop 50, which is why, America, if you look at the little orange bar at the bottom, you see how it says 4-0 by the Bucks and 3-0 by the Sixers, and then there's a little 1 by the thing with the Nets. Okay, yeah, Brandon, the Heat might not be great. You know who's also not great? The team that's running ISOs for Jabari Parker, the Boston Celtics. So the answer is the Bucks look the best. The Bucks had an actual threat in the first round. There was no universe that existed where the Wizards or the Celtics were ever going to win their series. The best either of those teams could hope would be to force it 5. We'll see if the Wizards can. They probably can't. The Celtics did. The Bucks were playing a team with 2 legitimate stars in Bam and Jimmy, a great head coach, and a team that had the belief they could win. And after Game 1, they annihilated them without Giannis having to be dominant. And so it doesn't mean the Bucks are the best team in the East, but the team that has looked the best, by the way, not just in the East, in the whole playoffs so far, is unquestionably Milwaukee.
Okay, Here's the thing. Sometimes boring is actually the most efficient. Like when you see rich people, it's like, what do you do? It's like, oh, I'm a Hollywood star. I was in Top Gun. Like, I knew I recognized you. Like, how about you? It's like, well, I run a movie studio. Like, oh, okay, yeah, I should have done it. How about you? Like, I'm the gravel king of North Dakota. Like, wow. And it's like, and I've got more money than everybody. That's what the 76ers are. The 76ers are just boring and just quietly handling the Wizards, and no one's talking about them because they don't have the big three, and they didn't sweep the Heat because the Heat had to like exercise some demons. But if you look at the point differential, boom, there's the Sixers. So they're going to sweep, and we're going to be like, wow, the Sixers are just quietly making their way through. Not a lot of fanfare. The Bucks have like jumped up on the attention meter, but the Sixers are amazing. So I'm going to go with the Sixers, Jenna.
Gravel Kings of the Northeast, like, Philadelphia 76ers.
There's a right answer.
Let's switch gears.
There has to be a
Talk
right
some
answer.
Football. Everybody needs.
It's not the
gravel.
team who's lost.
Seahawks are reportedly engaged in talks to trade for Julio Jones. Russ and Julio reportedly discussing joining forces while Atlanta figures out where to deal the all-pro receiver. Hey, Brandon, Russ and Julio down by the schoolyard discussing teaming up in Seattle is blank.
The blueprint, Jenna. And if they land Julio Jones, they go from a contender, because we throw around that title lightly, to a true contender, a real threat in the National Football League. Here's why I call it the blueprint, right? You no longer have the Legion of Boom. We know that they've been gone, and that's been blown up for a couple of years now. Russell Wilson is the key. Russell Wilson is the guy. He's the most winningest quarterback through 9 years in the history of our game. So what do? You surround him with talent. So now you have DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, and you have Julio Jones. And you have a run game. So if I was an offensive coordinator, the way I would construct my team is I would lean on the run game. I would create 8-man boxes. So now you have one-on-one outside. A lot of times when you have one-on-one and you have one safety in the middle of the field, he leans to a threat. So he'll lean to a DK Metcalf. But if you lean to DK Metcalf, now you have Julio Jones on the other side, a Tyler Lockett on the other side. What are you going to do? So essentially what they're going to create is cover zero. Cover zero, you only run cover zero when the game is on the line and there's nothing else to do. That's what we call, we're throwing everything at you, including the kitchen sink. So this could be dangerous if they land Julio Jones, because they'll literally be unstoppable. They have Chris Carson coming back. He's a monster. They upgraded the running game, and now you have 3 threats at the wide receiver position. Who are you going to double? It was easy last year, Nick, because they had DK Metcalf on one side. They doubled him. They viced him. They leaned the safety to his side. They had Tyler Lockett. All they did is play 12 yards off of Tyler Lockett, so he couldn't do that. So this is going to be dangerous. This is the blueprint to winning another Super Bowl in Seattle.
Brandon, I know it's going to feel like I'm picking on you this morning, but football is really your wheelhouse. And when you have a fact error like that, I can't let it go. When you say that you only play cover zero in this very specific situation, unless, of course, you are the Jets and defending a Hail Mary, then you also play cover zero and you lose to try to keep your unperfect season alive.
You're going to go back to that? Nobody remembers that play.
Yeah, I got to. I'm just messing with you. All right, more importantly, though, this is more Rodgers fuel. At this point, I've got to wonder if other NFC contenders aren't doing things just to try to make things worse in Green Bay between the Packers and Aaron Rodgers, hoping he gets traded to the AFC. Because if you're Aaron Rodgers and you're like, oh, okay, so like the Vikings, they called Kirk Cousins, and now the Seahawks, they are trying to get Julio Jones. Meanwhile, my team is doing nothing. And by the way, Packers, even if you're not going to trade for him, lie and leak this to the media. Why is there not a report out of Green Bay that the Packers are hot after Julio Jones? That way, when they don't get him, they can be like, we tried. Atlanta was unreasonable. They're like, we're not trading him there. He said he doesn't want to live in the cold. Something. I don't get it. I don't understand why the Packers aren't involved in this, or at least not lying and claiming they're involved in this, Wild.
What type of analysis is that? Packers should lie to Aaron Rodgers. That's the way to get way to a guy's heart. Lie to him some more. That's a good one, sure. Hey, even worse than not
like
telling you about
Wilds.
Jordan Love. Now we're lying to you. Hey, give it a shot. It can't get any worse. Hey, my answer, Jenna, is Lil Wayne inspiration. Lil Wayne has a famous line. It says, real trades move in silence like trade lasagna. And that's why this trade is not actually going to happen. We heard all about the AB trade. AB's going to Seattle. Oh, it didn't happen. And guess what? Russ was mad. I think we're hearing too much about this trade. It doesn't happen. Sorry, Seattle. Sorry, Brandon. Still not going to happen. Headed to New York.
Oh, man.
Say sorry to Russ. Russ is up, maybe watching. He just tweeted, "Rise and shine." Still time for the weird and wonderful from our national pastime. How about Fernando Tatis Jr.'s home run from Saturday night? Down to their final out, a 3-run shot to send it to extras. Padres went on to win in 12. Pretty wonderful. Hey, Kevin Wilds, what else you got for us?
All right, another play from my favorite player on Dallas Baptist, Cole Moore. Last week, Cole Moore went all out to try to catch this foul ball. Great play. It made weird and wonderful just for the effort. Awesome job. And shout out to that fence. That's the perfect height to make great plays. Well, turns out not everybody liked it, and Cole Moore got some criticism for trying to catch the ball. How dare people? Fast forward to this weekend. Cole Moore is back in action with his favorite fence. Check this out. Cole Moore again. Blammo. This time, he catches it.
No.
He does. Cole Moore, I'm telling you, that's why he's my favorite player on Dallas Baptist University, Jenna. After the game, wow, he had this quote.
Or at least
Can we show the quote, Katanic? After I made that catch, I told all the guys that one is for all the haters out there that said I shouldn't have dove for the first ball. I just had to make the play for them this time. That's right. Cole Moore haters. I didn't even know you were out here, but you got your just desserts. How dare you?
I was a hater. Why would he do that? I mean, that's a dangerous play.
You know, I appreciate you taking the time to bring that to us, Kevin Wilds. We might have missed that. We're back to talking about a Los Angeles basketball team, this time the Clippers. They clawed their way back into the first-round series against the Mavericks this weekend. Did people, a.k.a. Nick, write them off too soon? I'll ask. He'll answer. It's next. First things first.
Ooh, Kauai.
Hi, my name is IT2 Dominique Taylor. I'm from Brooklyn, New York, and I'm currently stationed at U.S. Pacific Fleet. And I just wanted to give a shout out to my hometown and friends and family.
Thank you to Navy technician Dominique Taylor and all of our active and former military members on this Memorial Day. We are going to take a turn back to some basketball where Clippers Mavericks. Hey, this is suddenly a series, guys. After pretty unimpressive games 1 and 2, Clippers responded with a win in game 3. Then last night in game 4, when they blew out the Mavericks. And that series now all squared up at 2 games apiece. But where was Luka? Luka was there, but he battled through a cervical strain, still went for 19. He was asked afterwards how he was feeling. Take a listen.
I don't think that matter right now. We lost by 20, and injuries are part of the basketball, but I was 100%. But I played terrible, so we just gotta move on to the next one.
All right, Nick, listen, it begs the question, is it possible you wrote off the Clippers a little too soon?
No, I didn't write them off too soon. I maybe was a little hyperbolic because I think early in game 3, I was sending them to Seattle. I was moving the franchise out of Los Angeles to Seattle. Yeah. Maybe I should pump the brakes on that for just a week or so. But no, listen, the Clippers played a great game 4, and they took advantage, and Rick Carlisle's awesome. But they took advantage of a coaching decision that I would imagine will keep Rick Carlisle up at night for days and days in Game 3. Game 3, the Mavs had the Clippers down for the count. It was 28-11. They could do nothing with Luka. The Mavs were getting whatever they wanted. And Carlisle stuck to his regular substitution pattern, took Luka out of the game. Shortly thereafter, it's a 14-0 Clippers run, and it's a game again, and it gave the Clippers some life. But what we know about the Clippers is this. When they are playing free of pressure and expectation, they're exceptional. That's how they've been the last few regular seasons. That's how they've been this playoffs. Once everyone wrote them off, they started playing their best basketball. Now, all of a sudden, thanks to these 2 wins, there is pressure on them again. They are the favorites in the series again. It's like, oh, the Lakers look hurt. The Nuggets are questionable. Nobody believes in the Jazz. Oh, the Clippers can do this, which is why I expect them to revert back in very short order to Clippers playoff basketball, which is playing tight, not getting any contributions from the role players, and just relying on Kawhi to be otherworldly, which, to his credit, he has been through 4 games this series. So no, I don't think I wrote them off too early, Brandon. I think they're still in huge trouble, and I think that Luka is going to prove out to be the best player in this series, despite the fact that yesterday he had I would argue his first actual bad playoff game of his career. The only other one that was close was the one where he missed time because he got his ankle stomped on. So no, I don't think I wrote them off too early.
So hold on, Nick. Let me get this right. So you said they need to go take the franchise to Seattle, all right? And they need to blow up everything.
Yes.
Kawhi needs to look at other teams, but you didn't write them off too early?
Yes.
No? You sure?
Well, because I still think they're going to lose the series. Because I still think they're going to lose the series.
Oh my,
so
listen,
if they end up winning the series, then I'm wrong. But I still think they're going to lose the series.
Okay, all right. Well, look, I'm not going to approach this from an emotional standpoint. I just want to talk facts because I've been talking about the Clippers all year. I got the Clippers coming out the West, and I got the Nets coming out the East. So here's my notes from last night. They cooled off. Games 1 and 2, they were great. Games 3 and 4, they weren't there. And who am I talking about? I'm talking about the others. And this is what we talked about Thursday and Friday. You guys asked me this question. Should we be writing off the Clippers? No, because why would you think that Hardaway and Porzingis and Finney-Smith, they're going to go out there and torch the Clippers the way they did? Like who do you want them to guard? They had 4 or 5 guys that was hot that couldn't miss. So now they cooled off, and now you're seeing the difference. So the Clippers are right where they need to be. They came out, they handled business. They were a top 10 offense and defense all year. Did you expect them to be swept? Do you expect them to let Luka and the others just come in and just blow them out like that? Absolutely not. So Luka is exactly who he needs to be. Unfortunately, he's dealing with something. But Luka, he can't do it every night. You need Hardaway. You need Porzingis. You need Finney-Smith. You need those guys to come out and play good. But if you look at what they did the last 2 games, it was nothing, and that was the difference.
Well, I think Game 3, the Sporting Cast did a fair amount. It was those numbers are skewed massively by how terrible they were in Game 4, and that's wild. That's the old regression to the mean. Through 3 games, the Mavs were shooting 50% from 3, and in Game 4, they shot 17% from 3. I think that 5 of 30. I think that's about 17%. So they're not a 50% three-point shooting team. They're not a 17% three-point shooting team. They'll be somewhere in the middle for the remainder of the series. But I do want to give Ty Lue some credit because Ty Lue did something smart that now Rick Carlisle must adjust to. He said, Pat Beverly, you're not playing. Beverly, you're done for the series, essentially, and we're going to play small. We're going to play with Marcus Morris, Nick Batum as our biggest people on the court. We're going to play 1 guard with Reggie Jackson, along with our 2 stars in Kawhi and PG. And now the Mavericks must adjust to it. Last night, the Mavs were so tilted, they gave Boban minutes early. They're like, maybe this will force the Clippers to go big. And the Clippers wanted to. The Clippers stayed small. So I think Carlisle now has to adjust to the Clippers' adjustment as we now have a best of 3.
Clippers to the moon. Clippers to the moon. We know that they are an emotional team, and I am buying all the Clipper stock on Robinhood. I'm long on AMC, GameStop, Dogecoin, and Clippers, and it's an emotional roller coaster. But when it's going hot, it is hot. You know what it reminds me of, Nick? 94 Rockets. Oh, 94 Rockets. Lost 2 in Phoenix. Oh, no, excuse me. They lost 2 at home. And then they went to Phoenix and won 2, ended up winning the series. They just traded off home court advantage at that point. If you were home, you would win. Then they end up winning, going through the Western Conference Final and beating the Knicks for the championship. I'm telling you, we know that the Clippers are so emotional that if they're riding high and feeling free and they've got this big sort of like, this tension of like, oh, we're down. If they can get through this, I think that we could see Clippers championship, or at least that's what my Robinhood account says. Feeling good about the Clippers.
No, listen, Wilds, listen, I appreciate you going all in on the Clippers. It makes my take a little bit more stronger on the show. It'd be me and you versus Nick. But I can't entertain that anymore. Right. The Clippers have been a good team all year. I just said it. Top 10 on defense, top 10 on offense. The storyline has been the same. Kawhi and Paul George have been really good this year. And when the others play, the supporting cast, the bench plays well, they win. When they don't, they lose. Game 1 and 2, they weren't there. Reggie Jackson, where are you? Beverly, where are you? Morris, where are you? Games 3 and 4, those guys stepped up. Well, other guys stepped up, as like Nick said. Pat Beverly didn't play. But that is the storyline. So I don't want to entertain that anymore, that this team is an emotional team. These are grown men. These are professional basketball players. They understand what they need to work on. They go in the gym, they work on it, they get better, they don't. So what we've seen all year is them take strides and getting better, and Kawhi answering the bell. He's a leader now. He's playing back-to-back. So this whole narrative that his team is the emotional team, no, they're playing basketball. They lost the first 2, they won the next 2, and now they're going to keep going.
They're just like me, Brandon.
No,
they're just, when we're high, we're high, and when we're low. I'm just like the Clippers, Brandon. I totally understand it. All right, let's take a pause. Nick's got to hand out a couple of NBA playoff medals. Nick's like, what is happening? Joel Embiid set a playoff career high 36 points in the win on Saturday. It was good. It was not the best. He just missed a medal. Nick, who did make your playoff podium?
Unbelievable weekend. Hard to find spots for everybody. We'll start with Kawhi. Kawhi on Friday night, he was great in both nights, but Friday night particularly so. 36 and 8, and most notably on 13 of 17 from the field in a very close, hotly contested game. Kawhi was exceptional, kept the Clippers in it before others got going. Silver medal, Kevin Durant. How about KD? 42, 4, and 5 for KD. That's Joel Embiid. He was very good as well, but trust me, Kevin Durant, they don't quite look similar. That's Giannis, but listen, who gives a damn? KD was awesome, but we're not going to show you the highlights. And now the goal. Tatum, 50 piece. 50 for Jason Tatum. Took every last drop in order for the Celtics to steal one from the Nets. The Nets will win in 5, but Tatum has an all-time playoff moment, trading buckets with KD and Harden and Kyrie throughout the evening. Kyrie had a rough game 3, very good game 4. So there it is. There's your medal stand. America, I know what you're thinking. Nick, you gave KD a medal and you wouldn't show his highlights. Guilty as charged. I was like, guys, I'll give him the medal, but just run the wrong tape. I don't want to see it. I didn't want to see it, Jenna. It's true. It's my fault. I told him.
Don't believe it. All right, that's who made it, but KW, who just missed out?
Okay, this probably should have been a flagrant foul. It was just a common foul. LeBron's upset. Missing the cut, Jake Crowder's reaction. It's just the perfect reaction. After LeBron sort of like was showboating in Game 3, this is the perfect non-reaction reaction. So well done, Jay Crowder. You're not going to win sort of like an argument, but just a confused, quizzical look is just the fantastic response. Even high-five Devin Booker in the process.
He's still able to give the high-five amidst the quizzical look. Back talking the Brooklyn Nets now, and another ugly fan incident yesterday in Boston. We'll hear from Kyrie and KD on the matter on the other side. This is First Things First. Tomorrow it's an AL Central showdown on FS1. Tim Anderson leading the White Sox against Jose Ramirez and the Indians tomorrow, 5:30 Eastern on FS1 and the Fox Sports app. Back here, first things first, and another ugly fan incident from the NBA. This one following the Nets win in Boston last night. As the Nets were walking off the court, a fan tossed a water bottle at Kyrie Irving, nearly hitting him in the head. The fan was arrested as a result. Kyrie was asked about the incident after the game. Take a listen.
Fortunate, that sports has come to a lot of this, kind of crossroads where you're seeing a lot of old ways come up. It's been part of that. It's been that way in history in terms of entertainment, performers, and sports for a long period of time of just underlying racism and just treating people like they're in a human zoo. Throwing stuff at people, saying things. There's a certain point where it just gets to be too much. So, I called it out. I just wanted to keep it strictly basketball, and then you just see that people just feel very entitled out here. They pay for the tickets, great. I'm grateful that they're coming in to watch a great performance, but it's just, we're not at the theater. We're not throwing tomatoes and other random stuff at the people that are performing. It's too much.
Fans got to grow up at some point. I know that being in the house for a year and a half with the pandemic, got a lot of people on edge, got a lot of people stressed out. But when you come to these games, you got to realize, man, these men are human. We not animals. We not in a circus. You coming to the game is not all about you as a fan. So have some respect for the game, have some respect for these human beings, and have some respect for yourself. Your mother wouldn't be proud of you throwing water bottles at basketball players or spitting on players or tossing popcorn. So grow the up and enjoy the game. It's bigger than you.
Hey, Brandon, what was your reaction to this latest fan incident?
Listen, not a lot here for me. We know what we have to do. We have to prosecute. We have to change the way we look at our security and we police arenas and stadiums, all over the country, all over the world. Going to a game could be very dangerous, and we know that not only for the players, but the fans in the stands. You either watch the game, you've been to a game, and you understand it, you feel it. You have to be careful how you navigate yourself through these arenas. People are intoxicated. People are they're fans, short for fanatic. So it can be a tough environment. So we know what we have to do there. This is nothing new. I go back to my days in Miami, and we had this one parking lot outside of our stadium where we all parked, and there was so many fans there. And I jumped in my car one day, and it was a good thing I was with my agent at the time, and I'm trying to navigate through this crowd of fans, and the guy came up to me, and he just started banging on my window, and I almost lost it, and I almost jumped out my car, and my agent grabbed my hand. But I'm like, man, why do you feel that you can touch my car? Why do you feel like you can bang on my car to a point that the glass is going to break? So we understand what we have to do here. I also would say that it's not just a fan problem. It's a we problem. It's a us problem. It starts at the top. It starts with our leagues. Naomi Osaka, the French Open, she goes into that match, into that tournament saying, look, I am not going to talk because of mental health, and trying to take care of that. I don't think that it's fair that all players should have to speak after every single match. Why do we make all of our players speak? There's certain things that we do to play into this. We entertain it. In media, we do the same thing. Look at Dak Prescott. Look how we handled that situation when Dak Prescott said, look, my mental health wasn't where it needed to be because of what happened with my brother. And look how we handled that. Look at Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving, he takes some time to get his mind right. And look how we handled Kyrie Irving. Look at the narrative that was in the media. And then, like I said, Naomi Osaka was a prime example of how we do that. So it's not just a fan thing. It comes from the top. The leagues need to do a better job. And us in the media, we need to do a better job because we do put our players and our superstars on the pedestal. We do say that you guys are invisible. We do say that you guys are superheroes. So we got to look at it, from a 360 approach to make sure that we're all breaking down this stigma of our players being in the cage and being in the zoo.
Yeah, so listen, you're big picture wise, I agree with what you're saying and about how we kind of dehumanize athletes in some of the ways we discuss them. But what we have seen specifically in a week's time in the NBA is a fan pour popcorn on Russ, a fan spit on Trae Young or spit at Trae Young, a fan in Utah say to Ja Morant's father, "I'll put a quarter in your back and make you dance for me, boy." And now a fan throwing a water bottle at Kyrie. And the Celtic fans seemed extra amped up at Kyrie because he had the audacity to say, "Please try not to be racist." And Kyrie, in his commentary after the game, brought up a racial dynamic here that I think cannot be ignored. This is those four incidents, and the vast majority that I've seen in my lifetime are white fans targeting black players, basically, as Kyrie put it, and as I put it last week, acting like it's animals at the zoo and you're tapping on the glass, where you are removing the humanity from the people involved. And it is all fruit of the same poisonous tree of shut up and dribble. It is all fruit of you are performing for my entertainment, and that is where your efficiency as a human starts and ends. How well you entertain or don't entertain me. I don't want to hear your opinions on police brutality. I don't want to hear your opinions on politics. And I do not care a single shred about treating you with dignity outside of watching you play a sport. And it is, in the NBA, an overwhelmingly black league. And the last time I can remember an incident where a black fan was thrown out of the game, it was Charles Oakley at his own arena. These incidents are typically white fans targeting black players. The players feel it. The players know it. And yes, you can prosecute the individual cases. Yes, you can arrest and you can ban the individual bad actors. But there is an underlying boiling tension here that I warn the fans across the league. What they're going to eventually have to do, is move the stands back. Like make you further from the players as a whole, which we're all worse off for. But if stuff like this, you can't have guys spitting on players, throwing water bottles at players, and you're playing, as Wilds put it last week, Brandon, playing whack-a-mole with bad actors. Tell me then, what's the fix?
We can't change their mindset and how they view people and how they view the world. But we can change how we police, how we secure our stadiums and arenas. Like those crowds, the stands, it's crazy up there. Put more security there, not just standing at the bottom or the top. They should be in every damn row. That's what you do. Why does my wife or why does my grandmother, why can't they wear my jersey at a game because of what a fan may say? Secure the stadiums. It's not just for the players and the players, but it's for other players. Like, other fans. Let's say the Denver Broncos playing against the Raiders, right? And they're in, let's go old school, because I want to go to the black hole, because I haven't been to Las Vegas yet. So Denver Bronco fan goes to the black hole. They go to Oakland. Why does a Denver Bronco fan got to take off their shirt? Because it's going to be too rowdy of a crowd. So we just need to approach how we secure our stadiums just a little bit differently. But here's the deal, okay? We got to look at the owners. We got to look at the general managers. And I'm being honest here. When the owners and general managers start treating the players like they're people, then things will change. So you're talking about, this whole racial thing of, like players are animals behind the glass in the zoo tapping on it. Then the owners need to step up and say things differently. They need to do things differently. When all the racial tension was soaring, where was most of the owners? Why were you forced to stand up and tell us where you stand? Like in the middle of a global pandemic is when you were forced to finally say something. And then there's still a list of around 15 to 20 owners that hasn't said anything. That is the problem, how we approach our players and how we put policies and systems around our players. Oh, because it's a $1 billion business, a multi-billion-dollar business. You guys have to talk. You guys have to do these things. The fans pay our bills. They keep the lights on for us. We understand that. We appreciate that. But at the same time, if we're going to say players are human, then we need to treat them like they're humans in the media, and then also when we talk about our owners and general managers and all the systems that we put in place in our buildings.
So I think the league has a crisis right now. This is the fourth incident in the first round of the playoffs that we've seen. If we have to see, we've seen these incidents captured on camera or reported, I'm sure there's more. So overall, I would have to take the over on how much bad behavior there's been in these stadiums. So after the Russell Westbrook incident, we saw Russ say something needs to be done. We saw LeBron say something that needs to be done. We saw Bradley Beal say something needs to be done. And I don't think that the NBA can go to each individual fan and recenter their moral compass. I think that's too much to ask. However, it's not too much to ask to put security measures in place so that the same incident doesn't happen a week later. This looks very similar to the Russell Westbrook incident. This is a player leaving a visiting arena and a fan in basically the same section throwing a concession on the person. So this is something that security needs to deal with, and the NBA needs to turn into a priority, because these aren't disparate acts. They're like, I can't believe it. Really? Because it just happened last week. The NBA needs to move this to the forefront of their priority and make sure it doesn't happen again.
And I think that's the conversation moving forward to see if that's something they could have in place at least before the end of this postseason. All right, we're going to take a break, head out west, take a turn. Anthony Davis sidelined again for the Los Angeles Lakers. Can LeBron now carry this team past the Suns without his co-star? We'll discuss next. This is First Things First on a Monday morning.
Hi everyone, my name is Ian Creason and I work here in the beautiful Pearl Harbor, Hawaii. Just wanted to give a shout out to my friends and family back home in Excelsior Springs, Missouri. Love you guys, miss you. And how about those Chiefs?
Oh, how about
what a man.
Thank you to Navy Engine Man Joshua Creason. All are active and former military members on this Memorial Day. Time for stories now to start your morning, sponsored by Ram Trucks, built to serve Lakers Suns. Hey, on Friday, we all thought this series was over. But AD sat out the second half last night with a strained groin. Reportedly, there's, quote, pessimism that he'll be able to play Game 5. Hey, this series isn't all over. Meanwhile, Chris Paul out there with that banged-up shoulder leading the Suns to a Game 4 win. He himself with 18 points, 9 little helpers there. Hey, here was LeBron James after the loss. Take a listen.
At 36, how wide are those shoulders still? Can you do this at this age and carry the team if AD is not able to do to be out there?
For me, it's putting our team in position to be successful. It starts with my approach, starts with my accountability, trickles down to everybody else. So, these shoulders was built for a reason, and if it takes for me to put some more on top of it, then so be it. Win, lose, or draw. I'm ready for the challenge.
How many layers is he wearing? Cover those shoulders. Nick, can LeBron carry the Lakers past the Suns without Anthony Davis?
Yes, and we've seen him do it before. Yeah, LeBron's been on some really good teams, but he's also been on some truly terrible teams, and he's never lost a first-round series. And the last time we saw him in a position like this, where he is the only star on a team, was the 2018 Cavs, and he was arguably had his best playoff run ever. And the conference finals that year, by the way, the Cavs fell down 0-2, then they knotted it to a piece. It ends up going 7 with Boston. I don't know if this one will go 7 or if the Lakers will win in 6, but what you will see is a totally different Lakers approach in Game 5. Anthony Davis isn't there. And Wilds pointed out something interesting earlier, which was that Anthony Davis himself said, we can't win with me playing this way, how he played in Game 1. And I actually agree with that. I think if Anthony Davis plays and is terrible, the Lakers are in really awful shape. But if he doesn't play, I think that is actually better than a bad version of him, because LeBron's approach will change entirely. It will be the old hand on the joystick, surround me with 4 shooters, I'll slow the game down, I'll get into the paint, and then I'll kick to the shooter on the outside, or I'll finish at the rim. And I think you saw enough flashes in this game of a healthy, springy LeBron to know he can do that. So I know that this conversation this morning is as if the Lakers are down 3-1. They're not. It's a best of 3, and they've got the best player on the court by a mile. So, yes, I trust that LeBron can carry the Lakers. Now, could he carry them to the finals without Anthony Davis? Different story. Could they win a championship without Anthony Davis? No. The league's too deep right now. But can they beat the Suns in Game 5 without Anthony Davis? Absolutely, unequivocally, yes, Brandon, and I expect that they will.
Listen, if you're a Lakers fan, then you should be thanking Nick for giving you hope this morning. It's a great take for them, Nick, but the answer is absolutely not. Before the tip-off of this series, I went with the Suns. I went with the Suns because they were healthier, and I went with the Suns because the Lakers, LeBron James, was beat up. His ankle still recovering from that. Didn't look good how he finished the season, although he was still on the court. And then AD, inconsistent all year, and health issues all year. And I said it. He made it to the playoffs, but do we trust that he's going to be able to finish it? And right now, we're seeing this thing play out exactly how I said. So, no, they cannot win this. When you look at how these teams are built, you need to have 2 superstars. You need to have 2 guys that you can lean on at any time. The Lakers now are without AD. And then when you look at the supporting cast, they're not good enough to get the job done against the number 2 seed. We keep disrespecting the Phoenix Suns. CP3 Wilds totally transformed this organization on the court and how they operate. Andre Drummond, 5 points. Schroeder, 8 points. Wes Matthews, 6 points. Kuz, 11, and Gasol, 12. That's not good enough to beat this team when you look at how they operate and how they function together. So the Lakers, this Lake show is over.
Okay, so LeBron after the game said, hey, it's next man up. I don't buy it. I think it works in football if you're talking about an offensive lineman. I don't think if you lose a top 5 player in the league and be like, hey, Marc Gasol, hit some threes, help us out. Hey, Andre Drummond, get dunked on, help us out. I don't think it's going to work. And I'm very worried about Anthony Davis because we're treating Anthony Davis injuries like they're all just singular events when actually they're all connected. This year, groin, sprained left knee, shoulder, back, groin, ankle, calf, and then the A word, Achilles. That's scary for me. Nicholas, I have one final thing for you. Because now, I would say we're friends. Co-workers, occasionally friends. Probably 51-49 co-workers, to be 100% honest.
Yeah.
But I know with you, it's always a battle between the head and the heart. And your head says go with LeBron, and your heart says also go with LeBron. But there's part of your heart that's like, man, Chris Paul, he's been injured, he's gotten a raw deal. Hasn't had a lot of playoffs. It looks like this narrative is going to be Chris Paul got injured. The team kind of goes how his injury history goes. And Chris Paul's back. There's got to, your MVP. There's got to be a part of you. It's like, you know what?
No, I'm happy for Chris Paul.
Pulled this one out.
I'm happy for Chris Paul. I also, they played 4 games in this series, right? And Chris Paul's played in all 4. He's started all 4. It's very amazing. I've never seen a guy get dinged up and folks be like, oh my God, the team can't compete now because their star point guard is still playing but not quite as operational. And then he played yesterday and he led them in field goal attempts. He led them in points. He led them in assists. He led them in steals. But it was, if the Suns lost, it was going to be because Chris Paul missed no time with an shoulder bruise. Okay, got it. But doesn't matter. Like
that's your MVP.
The fact of the matter is that he is the MVP. I understand, which is why I was so shocked Brandon abandoned him briefly, but now he's back with him. He's back with the Suns, and I'm excited for it. Because you did. Check the tape. The series ended 9 minutes in second quarter of game 1. It's fine, though. We're going to get to see. Brandon said you need 2 superstars. Luckily, LeBron counts for 2 superstars. We'll see that on Tuesday night.
Hope everyone enjoys their Memorial Day this morning. Have a great day, everyone. We will see you tomorrow morning.